Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have one of the thrash metal bands on the show, one of the big ones. He's Mr. Chuck Billy from the band Testament. They have a new album that's ready to come out. It's their 12th studio album called Brotherhood of the Snake. Testament's been kicking the ass for over 30 years, and if you have not heard of them, then you're nuts. So, Billy, Chuck,
you're hiding under a rock if you haven't heard of it.
That's exactly right, my friend. I mean, you guys are one of the big thrash metal bands that's got this going for all of us metalheads. So, thank you guys for what you have done and accomplished.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's coming up on 30 years. Time has flown. I guess, having a lot of fun, though, doing it.
So, Brotherhood of the Snake, let's talk about this a little bit. What impressed you the most about making this new album?
Well, this particular record was definitely a different fucking record for sure. Mm-hmm. Usually when we go to do a record, we rehearse and do a bunch of demos. This one, we didn't get that opportunity. Me and Eric worked on this record for almost 2 years. And within that 2 years, we've had a few tours, Slayer Tour, Lamb of God, and kind of, kept us doing other things. But we just couldn't, over that time, me and Eric probably, because we were working on most of it, I think we probably built up some emotion and frustration and maybe a little anger, like, getting to the point of recording the record because we just couldn't get the songs completed. But we knew that we had to finish the record recording by June 15th because we were leaving to go on tour. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't record it by then, we wouldn't have a record this year. So we basically just, looked at the calendar because Gene and Alex and Steve were busy. And we looked at the calendar and noticed Gene had a couple weeks in May. So we decided, what, screw it. Let's just book that time. Go ahead and reserve it, book it, get Gene up here. And we just have to get it done. And we kind of backed ourselves in a corner and put the pressure on us. Mm-hmm. And I think, maybe by doing so and everything going into the record with the emotions of not having the record on time or having them done, and this isn't the way we usually have done records. Everything is said and done, it came out great. And I think because everybody being put on the spot and, everybody came through, kicked ass on their recording. But, it was a long process. But at the end of the day, it came out great. We didn't get to really second guess what we were doing. We kind of just played and wrote from the gut, and I think that's probably usually the best choice is when you go with your first instinct,
Yeah, catch lightning in a bottle like that a lot, dude.
Yeah.
How was working with Juan Ortega? And I hope I pronounced his last name correctly on that one. And
yeah, it's Urtiaga.
Okay.
We've worked with Juan for quite a few years now. He's done some of the live stuff and, the last couple of records. Juan's local, we know he can handle it and he works quick. We actually put him and Andy together because we knew Andy was going to probably mix the record. So, we knew going into the record what we wanted to accomplish, on the record, which we knew what we wanted to accomplish, and definitely was the drums. We wanted to get a bigger drum sound. I definitely wanted to get a drier vocal approach like we did on the last record. There were some things we had spoke about what we wanted to try to do with Juan and Andy, and between the two of them, I think we got it done.
Any songs off the new album, Chuck, that stand out more to you, that's going to surprise us more that you think?
No, they're all pretty slamming, Yeah. I just think, there's some specialty songs on there. Like, I think for me, Seven Seals was a song that was kind of created and written the last minute in the studio. It was one of the last songs written and introduced to me, after it was done. And I really had a couple days to really put my head around it and came up with the idea and the melody and came back and recorded it the next day. And shoot, within 4 days, we had it written, recorded, and it turned out really killer. So that's one of them songs that, when those turn out like that and they come together quick, they are special songs.
With having so many albums out and recording many times, what helps you to keep an open mind going into the writing process and things like that? Because, after doing this for so many years. Some said it's stagnant, things like that. I mean, but what helps you, man?
Well, for this record in particular, Eric definitely wanted me to take a different approach. The last, let's see, 3, 4 records, we've been writing stuff that are more real and personal stuff, lyrically. And, Eric really wanted, this year he said, let's just try to keep it not as personal, and let's try to come up with something and create something that has cool imagery, and so we can write some cool lyrics and words and titles. And he was all into the imagery about it. So, that's what kind of led it down a different path from the real stuff. So when I kind of had this fascination with the aliens and what was documented, in history and in religions, thousands of years ago, just, documents of beings with the long arms and the big heads and flying objects. And it just kind of tripped me out. Like, maybe there is something to this. How is these same sightings, thousands of years across the world from each other? It just kind of made me open my eyes into the possibilities. Mm-hmm. And then I ran into the story of the Brotherhood of the Snake on the internet. And the Brotherhood of the Snake was one of the first secret societies formed over 6,000 years ago. And they were basically out on a crusade to kind of take down all other religions and claim their religion was, their belief was a leader or alien god or king. Anu basically created mankind to serve on Earth for all the minerals and gold of the planet. So that kind of stirred up like, hey, this is kind of a good story or kind of angle to start where we're going with it. The aliens, religion, secret society, political power, corporate power, it all kind of goes, still kind of entwined with each other. So that's kind of set us on the path for, writing a lot of the songs for Brotherhood of the Snake.
Things like that interest me like crazy, especially like, aliens, UFOs, cryptozoology especially. I mean, I believe in it, I think it's out there somewhere.
Well, it opens your mind to it. I mean, I was born and raised Catholic, so I had different beliefs being raised. But, being an adult in this many years on the planet, I'm open to the possibilities of it. And
sure.
Are more so, more so than ever, now.
What stands out about this album more that's not out there right now, Chuck?
Well, I just think we're staying true to what our thrash is, what our style is. It's like I said, 90% of this record is thrash, and it does have elements of the first earlier days. A lot of that. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know, man. For us, it's just kind of taking the history, but bringing it up to date. Making it sound more current.
What can fans expect at a show from the Mighty Testament once they come out to see you guys, other than getting their teeth knocked in?
Well, I mean, this record, even the last record, usually when you got a new album out, you put maybe 1 or 2 songs in the show. Where last year, we put, I think, 3 or 4 right away off the record. And this record's feeling the same kind of vibe, like maybe 3 or 4 can go right away into the set. Has that good live feeling. So, we'll definitely play some classics, but I think we'll lean towards more of the new stuff. I know Gene's been leaning us to play some more stuff off Demonic since he performed on it. So, I mean, we'll see.
I'm glad I got you on here because you're an old school guy, and I want your take on this. We've seen the days of recording change a lot from back in the day to now, and you know this well. So, do you guys like the digital era of recording and plus putting the music out now? I know everybody has to go in the studio, but would you rather be in the studio putting an album out that way or just do it digitally?
Well, at the beginning of the digital era, it was a whole different new thing. But I think, like anything you adapt to, as long as you know what you're trying to accomplish as far as the sound, you can get it with digital now. The digital has came a lot further now than it has, and it does save you some time. It's hard to say. There's some bands that are great live, and there's some bands that are great in the studio. So it's tough, to make that choice. Sometimes, that's just has to be laid down track by track.
Favorite moment or show, and I know you guys done a lot of stuff, but Is there a moment for you that sticks out in your mind that was awesome for Testament, being on stage somewhere or something like that, maybe?
Well, for us, I mean, what stands out for the most is 1988. We got a call to replace Megadeth for the Monsters of Rock in Bochum, Germany, and Schweinfurt, Germany. It was 2 shows. And it was 1988, so we're still on the New Order record. So we played with Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, David Lee Roth, Kiss. So, you know, here we are on our second record coming out, second year of touring, and we're playing this massive Monsters of Rock festival. There's 110,000 people in the crowd, and it was just like unreal to step out onto that. And that's probably one thing that always will, you know, be a special memory.
Yeah, especially walking out, man, just seeing a sea of people just keeps on going and going and going.
Well, you never seen that before, and you're just like, holy shit. You know, it's like, it's very inspirational, I'll tell you.
It's like, don't screw up. Don't screw up.
Exactly, yep.
In your own opinion, Chuck, what does Testament bring to the table for music that some bands out there may be lacking?
I don't know what style of music, but I would say just that I think staying focused on fine-tuning what you believe in and what you do without, like, jumping ship, you know?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have asked you, what would you tell new bands? It's like, you know, once you find your niche, keep with it and stick with it, because you only get better at it, you know?
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, that's what I want to do?
Well, I think I've always wanted to be one, that or an athlete, you know, I think. So, you know, I think when I seen Kiss for the first time, Gene Simmons kind of blew my mind, you know, the Fire and Blood and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That was kind of like, wow, I want to do that.
I'm sure you guys get this a lot, but what's it mean to you when you guys receive an email from a fan, or prior to your shows or after the shows, they'll come up to you, hey, look, your music has pulled me through a bad experience. It's gave me inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's gave me, you know, just gave me just to relax and get away from the everydays of reality that we live in. What's that mean to you guys?
Well, it definitely has a lot of meaning, you know, and that has happened, you know, especially, you know, some of the, like the Legacy was probably the most song that somebody has said has got them through some tough times through the years. And yeah, that means something, especially when you talk to people that say it kept them from suicide, you know, and that's pretty heavy, you know.
Yeah.
Actually saving someone's life because of a song or an effort we put into a song is pretty mind-blowing, you know. So, you know, that's, you know, when you talk to somebody and it's been like 5 years or later after the fact and they're back on their feet doing good, it's actually a really good feeling, you know.
I just like to say, as a fan, like I said earlier, thank you guys for what you have done, what you have brought to the table for music for us metalheads. Thanks for still being around, Chuck. Really appreciate it, man.
Right on, man. I appreciate it.
Everybody, Brotherhood of the Snake out October 28th. I've got to list a couple of these thanks to Nuclear Blast, and damn, it's good. It is good. It's vintage Testament. I will say that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, they're going to love it. Like I said, a lot of it is Eric and Gene have their foot on the gas pedal on this record, and that's what we wanted to come out, and it's we accomplished it. So thrash heads are going to get a little bit on this one.
Nice. Hey, Chuck, how can people stay in touch with you guys, buy this new album that's ready to come out, and tour dates, things like that? How can they do that, my man?
Yeah, I mean, you go to testamentlegions.com and Testament Legions Facebook. You know, everything we got is on there on testamentlegions.com. So, yeah, and through Nuclear Blast, I'm sure you can find the pre-order right now and our website. So you actually can go out and get the pre-order now coming up here.
Before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure. Hey, this is Chuck Billy from Testament, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Support Testament. Thanks, Chuck. Really appreciate it, my man.
Right on. Thanks for having me, man. Good talking to you, and maybe we'll see you on the road somewhere.